that even a computer doesn't work without a RAM, how can life work without RAM? If a computer can't work without RAM, I can't imagine a life without Lord Ram. And therefore, let's see if we can share a couple of thoughts and see what Lord Ram can bring to our lives. How many of you here love to eat?
Yes, everybody.
How many of you here are literal foodies? If you have a good wife, mother or sister, great. But if you don't have a good cook at home, that can be trouble. One lady asked her husband, "Can I make samosas for lunch today?" The guy said, "Well, you make it first and we'll do the name giving later." What will come out of it? God knows what will come out of it. But I must tell you something. All of us here love to eat. Most all of us could survive on a meal of bread and soup, or chapatis, rotis and dal and sabji and rice for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. We can have roti, loki sabji and moong dal for lunch, for breakfast, for dinner, for all months of the year, for all years of our life. And will we survive or not? Yes. Yes. Then why do we need variety? Why would we need variety? Whenever I ask this question to an Indian audience, they tell me in Hindi, "Swamiji, maja aana chahiye." To translate it in English, we eat with variety because we say we have to have a great time. How many of you like to dress up well? Get up. Oh, thank you, madam. Look at me, I'm wearing the same color every day. Orange. The same style. I was walking at Oxford Street and one gentleman comes up to me and says, "So, is that your favorite color?" I said, "Yeah." "Yours?" He said, "Mine as well." I said, "I have some extra sets. Would you like?" We all would love to look beautiful, have great looks. Because when people come and say, "Hey, you look cool. Hey, you look great." And whenever someone comes and says, "You look great," what happens? Maza aana chahiye. You have a great time. Even when I come to give a talk, I speak at many corporate houses. And when I come to give a talk, the organizers will tell me way in advance, even before I come to the dais, "Swamiji, speak in such a way कि हमारे audience को They don't spare me. Forget about eating and forget about decking up. Even in a satsang or a spiritual talk, they'll say, "Maza aana chahiye." And you can imagine, all our Herculean efforts, all the work that we do is targeted with this one thing in our mind. Whatever we do in our lives, there's one single motive that drives it. If it's eating, dressing up, working, earning money, whatever at all, there's one single motive that drives us. The motive of wanting to be happy. The motive of wanting to be pleasurable. The motive of wanting joy, happiness, fulfillment, contentment, satisfaction. I don't think anywhere here is an exception to this essential need of human society, or shall I say the entire society at large. The need to be fulfilled, the need to be happy, the need to be contented, and we all earn with this one thing in mind. Money is all needed for this one thing. And if you're Gujaratis, how you are looking very smart, you earning money. Everyone but Gujaratis, I'm from a Marwadi family by the way. Once Albert Einstein was on a flight and a Gujarati gentleman was sitting right next to him. So Albert Einstein turned to the Gujarati gentleman and said, "Look, I'm really bored. Can we play a game?" The Gujarati gentleman said to Albert Einstein, "What's the game all about?" Albert Einstein said, "Look, it's very simple. I ask you a question. Now, if you cannot answer my question, you pay me 10 quid. Just 10 quid. And then you can ask me a question, and I, as an established scientist, if I can't answer your question, I'll pay you 5,000 quid. The Gujarati said, done, sir. 10 and 5,000. Where's the comparison? Let's go ahead. Albert said, what's the distance between the sun and the earth? The Gujarati gentleman pulled out 10 quid. Said, I don't know. Is there any business there? If there's a business, I would know the distance between Albert said, now your turn. The Gujarati gentleman said, well, what is that animal that walks up a mountain with 3 legs and comes down with 4? The scientist was puzzled. He never ever heard anything like that. He started looking for an answer, pulled his books out, started reading, couldn't get a clue. And after getting completely frustrated, he pulled out 5,000 pounds and slammed it in the hands of the Gujarati gentleman. He said, sorry, sir, I don't know. The Gujarati man put it in his pockets, conveniently went back to sleep. Albert Einstein, look, sir, I paid you 5,000 quid now. Would you kindly oblige by telling me what is that animal which goes up the mountain with 3 legs and comes down with 4? The Gujarati gentleman pulled out 10 quid and said, I don't know. When it comes to earning money, ladies and gentlemen, well, smart people there. But smart people all over the planet, just to have a lighter time, Gujarati, but smart people all over the planet. Why do we earn? Why do we work hard? One drive, to be happy. And my question is, are you all happy? Are you all really fulfilled? Are you all really completely satisfied? Can you say with your hand on our heart and with the name of Lord Ram that I lead a really contented life? This evening, I would like to bring to your notice and your attention 4 essential principles from the life of Lord Ram which can truly change the quality of the life that we lead. And that's precisely why we are here. Ram is a universal personality. Yes, indeed, he appeared in India. Yes, indeed, he appeared in the precincts of Ayodhya. But Ram is a universal personality. His message is universal. His example is universal. His conduct is universal. And therefore anyone in any part of the world, of any nationality, of any religion, of any gender, adopts these principles, one cannot help but have a satisfied, fulfilled life. The 4 key words that I would like to mention to you this evening is, Ram came to teach us how to live, how to love, how to lead, and how to leave. Live, love, lead, and leave. And allow me to elaborate these 4 things in brief detail and see if we can decode a message from the life of Sri Ram. The first principle indeed, Lord Ram embodies, is live. Learn how to live a life by values, not by valuables. The whole world today gives tremendous importance to valuables, not to values. Ayodhya is where values are more important than valuables. Sri Lanka, not just Sri Lanka today, Ravan's Lanka, is a place where valuables are given more importance than values. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me if one can truly have a satisfied life if one simply prioritizes valuables. I was once talking to a gentleman, said, what do you think is the equation for happiness? He said to me, happiness is directly proportional to what you have. Which means the more you have, the happier you are. Do any of you here agree to that equation? No. Thank you. Thank you. One of my friends in Mumbai, he purchased a slick yellow Lamborghini. Wealthy man. Gujarati family. He called me up on the day he got possession of his slick Lamborghini. He said to me, Prabhuji, would you mind doing pagla for my car? Now, when he said pagla, I don't understand much Gujarati. So I thought pagla means who do you do pagla to? Pagla for me means mad. So I said, what does pagla mean? He said, pagla means bless my car. Bless my car. Touch your feet, sit in my car. And I said, why not? After all, when do Swamis get to sit in Lamborghini? The gentleman drove his car all the way to the temple. He said, we'll go for a 15 minutes drive. I sat in the passenger seat. He was in the driver's seat. And as we drove, I was quite delighted sitting in a Lamborghini for the first time. And as we were driving, the car halted at a traffic light. And there's another gentleman in a run-down, dilapidated, old car. I can't even remember what model. And this guy was humming some song probably, and he turned around. And his eyes went big. For the first time he had seen this slick yellow Lamborghini. And then his eyes went even bigger when he saw me sitting in it. And you should have seen the expression on his face. He had this expression, what Swamiji? Aap bhi? I wanted to put the windshield down and say, man, that's not my car. I'm the pagla that I came to do pagla. We moved out. The 15 minutes journey had turned out to be a 35 minutes long. Now I had a meeting to attend. After about 35 minutes, I suggested to the man, I need to get back. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, what this man did utterly shocked me. And as I speak this out to you, I'm sure what this man did will shock you. Just at the very proposal that I need to get back, this man started crying like a baby. How many of you here would cry the first day you get possession of a slick, posh, yellow, expensive, high-end Lamborghini? And they were not tears of joy. Nowadays I carry my monk's toolkit in my bag. My toolkit is a bottle of water, tissues, because you never know who starts crying. When people come to me and you never know who starts crying, talking their tales of woe. I gave him a tissue, I gave him a bottle of water, said, let's park the car and talk. It took me about 10 minutes to pacify him and get to hear from him what had happened. He said, just 3 days back, my wife has filed papers for divorce. I love her. My children love her. They want her, I want her. I'm trying my level best to keep her with me. And she just couldn't listen. She's filed papers for divorce, and now it seems that the divorce will go through. And believe me, that posh Lamborghini couldn't wipe his tears. That posh Lamborghini couldn't bring him any hope. That posh car couldn't uplift his spirits. And I was thinking, people are saying happiness is directly proportional to what you have. Ladies and gentlemen, some people in this world are so poor, so absolutely poor that all they have is money. If you truly want to know how happy you are, you must then count all those things you have in your life that money cannot buy.
Let me hold it. Yeah.
Joy, fulfillment, love, gratitude, respect, kindness, hospitality, generosity, cooperation, compassion. These are the values that Lord Ramka came to teach, right? Not just prioritizing Lamborghinis. And I'm not against one. I'm not against one. It's not that we don't have a Lamborghini. The point is, a Lamborghini without the values is going to do nothing to change the quality of our life. I also say, if you truly want to know how rich you are, drop a tear and see how many hands come forth to wipe that. That's how wealthy you are. The number of people who are by your side when you're in terms of turmoil, anguish, distress, and utter despair. When we have people is our wealth. Ayodhya signifies this. Values over valuables. And Lanka signifies valuables over values. this Ram Navami, we want to prioritize this. Values over valuables. And I simply want to mention one value here today, which Lord Ram signifies. How many of you had Gujarati khati beti dal? Most of you. How many of you had coriander leaves stuck in your tooth? Thank you. Okay. How many of you had barbecued corn? How many of you had a corn fiber being stuck in your tooth? Oh, thank you. And how many of you here have had an Alfonso mango? And how many of you have had a mango fiber being stuck in your tooth? Thank you. And how many of you have had fennel seeds, your saunf, the mukwas? And how many of you had the tail of the fennel seed stuck in your tooth? I've chosen the right examples, haven't I? And imagine when something gets stuck in your tooth, gosh, you will see the tongue. Sometimes I get talks after a post-lunch session and people are like, right in front of me. You know something? Something stuck in one of your teeth, but there's 31 other teeth in your mouth where the tongue could be going and saying, hey, look, there's nothing here. Wow! The tongue could also be going to some other tooth and say, hey, look, there's nothing here. Look at the nature of the tongue. Only goes to where something's stuck. And until and unless it comes out, you don't feel peace, right? It's not just the tongue. Our mind as well. Simply goes to and gets stuck with what we don't have. And we forget to see the 31 other good things that we have in life. In one thing you don't have something, but there's 31 other things that we have in life. I studied in a Christian school, a convent. And in my childhood, studying in a Christian school, I every day sang a psalm that brought so much meaning to my life. Count the many blessings and name them one by one. It shall surprise you what the Lord has done. Count the many blessings. Life is for counting blessings, not for focusing on the thing that's stuck and go complaining and craving. Arey mara paas Lamborghini nathi. Arey Honda City chhe ne. How we spend our life out of a lack of gratitude, and that's the reason I say it's not the happy people who are grateful. It's the grateful people who are happy. Ladies and gentlemen, gratitude is the attitude, that value, which brings joy to our life. When Lord Ram returned from the exile, he came in front of Kaikeyi. And Valmiki Muni in his Ramayana explains that he came and thanked Mother Kaikeyi. Thank you, Mother, for sending us in exile. Because of you, I got to know the depth of my father's love. As soon as I left, he departed. Because of you, I got to know the sacrifice of my brother, Bharat. He came to take me in Chitrakoot. Because of you, dear Mother Kaikeyi, I got to know the real service attitude of my brother Lakshman. Thank you, Mother Kaikeyi. Because of you, I came to know the chastity of my wife, Sita. Thank you, Mother Kaikeyi. Because of you, I got so many wonderful friends. Guha, Sugriva, Vibhishana. Thank you, Mother Kaikeyi. Because of you, Mother Kaikeyi, I got to know my own power. Because of you, Mother Kaikeyi, I got to know who was hostile towards me. Thank you, my dear Mother. Ladies and gentlemen, start looking at the silver lining of the cloud, even when things don't go your way. And there is always one. Whenever there is a setback, just sit back. Whenever you have a setback in your life, just sit back, relax, and ponder that there is a silver lining to the cloud. And that's what Lord Ram teaches to us. Are you all with me by now? Yes. And therefore, live by values, not by valuables, is the message of Ram to us. The second principle that Lord Ram teaches us is love. Love with acceptance. How many of you have said that word, I love you? Well, I'm not saying to whom. I'm just saying, how many of you said the word I love you? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sometimes the way things say, one lady, her husband was traveling out of town and she wanted to keep a check on him, you know. So she called him, hello darling. From the other side he said, hello darling. How are you? He said, how are you? Said, have you taken your lunch? He said, have you taken your lunch? She said, are you repeating my words? He said, are you repeating my words? Again she said, have you taken lunch? He said, have you taken lunch? She said, what a great opportunity now. She said, I love you. The guy said, I've had my lunch. That word love is so often used without meaning. That word love is so casually brought about in our conversations without meaning. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ramayana talks to us about what love is. Live by values and love with acceptance. Love grows on the foundation of acceptance. For the simple reason that no one in this world is perfect. Any of you ladies can say my husband's perfect? No? One lady went to a bookstore. She went to a bookstore and she said to the bookstore owner, I'm looking for this book called A Perfect Husband. Where can I find it? The bookstore owner said, that's the fiction section, madam. There. One guy wanted to get married, so he went to a Panditji, an astrologer, and said, what do you call a girl who's beautiful, who is romantic, who comes from a wealthy family, who will do all the hard work, who will clean the dishes, who will take care of all the household chores? What do you call such a girl? The astrologer said, imagination of the mind. Ladies and gentlemen, is there a perfect man? Is there a perfect woman in this world? Only the divine can be perfect. No human being can be perfect. And because no human being can be perfect, love is impossible without acceptance of imperfection. You cannot love someone unless one learns to accept people for who they are. And therefore we have to learn to love with acceptance. It's not a question of discrimination at all. Here we find the Ramayana Lord accepting Guha, a king from a tribe, as his friend. We find the Lord accepting a monkey king, Sugriva, as one of his friends. We find the Lord accepting Vibhishana from an Asura tribe as his friend. We find the Lord accepting a vulture, Jatayu, as one of his own. Acceptance. Accept. Be accommodating. The Lord has not come to this world to create divisions, has He? The Lord has not come to this world to create sectarianism, has He? The Lord has not come to this world to make us cultists, has He? The Lord in His life has extended His arms to one and all, to bring them in His fold and hug them in His tight embrace. And therefore we find in the Valmiki's Ramayana tremendous acceptance. Ladies and gentlemen, your relationships will never improve unless there is acceptance. I'm not saying acceptance should be taken to an extreme level. When acceptance turns into abuse, we have to stand up and speak. That's why when Lord Ram even gave chances to Ravana, but when it came to abuse, he stood up, raised his voice, and brought it up to deal with it. And therefore, acceptance is essential. Sugriva, Lord Ram accepted him. He'd forgotten. He was imperfect. Lord Ram dealt with his brother Bali, got his wife back, but he forgot his duties, and so do we. So do we. But the Lord reminds us. And therefore, my second principle for this evening is love with acceptance. My third principle for this evening is lead by example. Live by values, love with acceptance, lead by example. How many of you here would like to look beautiful? Some others think they're beautiful. The others think they're very beautiful. How many of you gentlemen would like to look handsome? The other gentlemen consider themselves very handsome. Sanskrit coming from the holy land of India is an extremely evolved language. Very evolved language, very sophisticated, very cultured language. Where even if you have to address someone as a donkey, an ass, you say Vaishakhanandan. One of the words for a donkey is Vaishakhanandan. So if you ever have to call an ass to someone and they say, hey Vaishakhanandan, the person feels, wow, you're composing a poetry on me or something? Hey Vaishakhanandan. But in Sanskrit, if you were to use the term for ice cream, you would say, Duktha Sharkara Yukta Hima Ghanagola Gattu. And if you were to say mango ice cream, you would say Amra Duktha Sharkara Yukta Hima Ghanagola Gattu. Now, by the time you place an order, the ice cream will probably melt. Such a long word. But it's just refined, sophisticated. You say things in a certain way. Now, why do I bring this up? Because some people, their ideology is the ideology of ice creams. They think life is meant to be like an ice cream. Enjoy it before it melts. And life will melt away, isn't it? Undoubtedly. One 65-year-old lady was standing next to her 30-year-old nephew who wasn't married. Every time there was a marriage in the family, she would nudge him. Next is your turn, yeah? And this guy wouldn't like it. Every man, next is your turn, huh? And then there was a death in the family. Both were standing right next to each other in the funeral. This time the nephew said to the aunt, next is your turn, yeah? Well, to be honest, someone's going to have the next turn someday. They all will melt away like the ice creams. So some people say life is like an ice cream. Enjoy before it melts. And some people say life is like a candle. Bring light to others before it melts. Both melt. An ice cream melts and a candle melts. But behind the ice cream is selfish enjoyment. Behind the candle is selfless service. Lord Ram took the throne of Ayodhya not to be an ice cream. Lord Ram, after the 14 years of exile, sat there as a leader, as a ruler.